Good morning, Cog Squad. It's Brooke with Mrs. Cog Hill Farm, and I hope everybody's doing okay this morning. Things here are cloudy. Temperature is around 62 degrees. And while we've had some rain, substantial amount of rain, we've got more coming. So I, again, have something I want to complete today. Fingers crossed I can get it done before the rain comes in, because this one, like the other one, when I cut the trails, it needs to be done before it gets wet. So Bramble, where are you? I just heard him. He was behind me and now he's gone. Last night I had a little issue and I figured out that this is something that doesn't happen to Jason either. I fed the goats, and the three young ones, meaning Laura, Curtis, and Red, they eat inside this stall to not have any kind of conflict from the older ones outside and make sure they get the amount of food that they need. And so when I open the door to let them back out, Topper comes in every single evening. And you would think, well, you can get Topper back out. Well, what happens is I have to open the door to let Topper back out, and then all the rest of them come in. And so last night, I told Jason when I got back, I haven't told him previously, I said, all the goats are inside the barn because I couldn't shut the stall door back. They really don't need to be in here unless the temperatures are frigid, and they were quite comfortable last night. And his concern is that they may, get loose into the barn, but that's not possible because, well, I keep this clip on the gate, and unless they jumped over, we wouldn't have that problem. But it made me think to tell y'all about it because Jesse and Honey were standing in here just a minute ago because I once again failed to shut this door. I opened and let the goats out from the other side, and you can see lovely Loretta. She's about to head out because she realizes there's nothing in here for her either. So as soon as she does that, I'm about to shut this door. Bramble, you so sweet. Gonna get this, hold on, baby. Gonna get this door shut. And Jason has gone to get a haircut this morning. Our daughter, Mary Carl, has rode along with him because they plan to get what he calls a cowboy breakfast this morning at the local diner downtown called Main Street Cafe. Good Southern lunch and also a good breakfast. But we usually are here taking care of the farm early in the morning and don't get to have breakfast unless we have business in town. And she's never had breakfast in town. So I'm also going to take care of the horses. Everything here's done. Oh my goodness. Dee Dee, we got to get a tote to put those frost cloths in. And it looked like Dee Dee was liking right where they are. We're going to fold those up and pack them away till next year. And they just landed in the floor of the barn temporarily, but you saw Dee Dee trying to make a bed out of them. Now, I do need to get my ducks out before I do anything with the horses. And y'all aren't going to believe how big they are. I see they've knocked their water over. That's typical. Let's look at the chicks first. Right, good morning, babies. Y'all, they are growing. You can see just big differences in between the Morans that are a week older and these cream leg bars that are 1 week younger. The temperature on the brooder is down to 75, so they really don't have any heat on them unless it's, well, right now or evening temperatures, because we've had some cool weather here and they've needed to be in here, not outside yet, but it's getting close. They're getting close to not having any heat on them. And they got a little bit before they outgrow this, but y'all can see they just grow so fast. All right, babies, let me get y'all's water cleaned out and filled up before I move the ducklings outside. All right, babies, y'all need a little top off on your chick starter too. There we go. And get y'all a few treats. Look at here. Look at here. Look at there. Oh my goodness. All right, now we got to do something that I'm not not enjoying. And the reason I don't enjoy it is simply because the ducks don't enjoy it. I told my mama, I said, I just don't think these ducks like me. And she said, well, Brooke, it's probably not that they don't like you. It's probably that they're scared. I said, you would think me moving them twice a day, sitting in there with them, doing everything for them, they would learn that I'm not going to hurt them. Because every time we transfer from this brooder to outside, it is, well, terrifying to them. So I don't know when that's going to change or if it's going to change, but I'm about to get them loaded up. Y'all are not going to see it because it sounds like I'm not doing something very nice. Although it's better than them being in the brooder all day, which is where they need to be for their safety at night. So next time you see these babies, they'll be released from their cat carrier, and I do have to get their water cleaned out outside, which is a 1-gallon water. They emptied it out last night before I brought them in, and they've got a little residue in the bottom because ducks are nasty. And so, yeah, y'all will see them in just a minute. I'm gonna open their door and walk away, and hopefully they'll come on out. So I want y'all to see how big they are. I might just get behind them and kind of lift up on it because it's going downhill. It's okay, babies. It's okay. Got sound effects by Loretta in the background. They love, love, love this doghouse that I put out here. And I must say, I never thought that they would use that. I want to move the camera a little bit so y'all can. I'm telling y'all, they're terrified and I don't like that. Y'all have gotten so big though. Yes, you have. You can start to see some of that mallard coloration coming in on their wings. Of course, the male mallards have that vibrant, beautiful green, and the females are just, they just blend in so well. The black and the brown and the gray tones just allow them to not even be seen. If y'all remember when she was sitting on the nest in the greenhouse, you could not even hardly see her. Not this one, but the other one. The one that actually hatched the babies. This was from another nest, but look at the pattern and that's starting to come in on their wings. Now the male will have that as well, and the color, the green color will develop at a later time. You can start to see a little curl on the end of a male's tail, and they're too little to have that now, but that's one of the early indications if it's a male or female, if they are the same coloration, which males and females and mallards look different. So off they go into their little house and they'll be back out. Now I am going to go over and take care of the horses, which Jason has prepared their food. He's got it soaking. He's a mad scientist when it comes to preparing these horses' meals every morning. So he wanted to prepare it and get their plates ready so I could give them their breakfast. And that's what we're gonna do. Dee Dee, I'm gonna have to wash your bandana, girl. You've been in the mud, in the rain, in the wetness, and it's gotten a little bit dirty. Yeah, we gotta go all the way across the farm, go take care of those horses, and then we're gonna come back and take care of the chickens. Well, I failed to mention something at the beginning of this video that's very important, and that is Happy Mother's Day. Everyone out there, Happy Mother's Day. I did not mention that because I'm recording on a Friday. This video comes out on Sunday, but we're supposed to have rain on Saturday. So my days are messed up. I wanted to show y'all that my mama wanted a willow tree to be planted, and so I cheated a little bit. I used Bobby C to drill down a little bit. Not very deep, you don't want to plant too deep, but got Mama a willow tree planted in the ground. That's one thing she wanted for her Mother's Day, and put some hooks up. She's trying to decorate and make things look better over at her little house. Let me show y'all this New Dawn rose that she has that's on the side of her porch. So right here, you can see the New Dawn rose, and we're trying to figure out how we could build something to make it go over the gate here. And you can see the gate's cracked open. It's not supposed to be, but Somehow it came open. This is one of the hanging baskets. She's got to trim that liner. She wants to plant something in there. And then she's got another hanging basket on the front that I'll show you. Planted some red petunias in a window box, which is just beautiful. The roses that we planted last year are coming out. They've sank a little bit. The soil compacted some, so we need to get those raised up, but we're going to wait until those finish blooming before we do anything with the soil. And yesterday evening, she got these planted in the front, so they're not quite as far along as the ones on the side, but you can kind of see what's gonna happen there. And used a little magnetic hook here to hang up a basket that she's lined with some moss and has some succulents in, and a hanging basket of lantana here. All right, let's go feed the horses. Well, it appears I only have one horse that wants to eat this morning. Miss Reska is the only one waiting, but I can assure you it won't be long before Willie and Maggie will be over here. Probably about the time I grab the buckets, they'll be waiting. Oh, look here. You didn't want to go out this morning, I assume. Pink has been spending a lot of time over here in the barn, which is what we want, but we also want her, you know, to do what she wants to do. We're not going to leave her stuck in here if she wants to go out, and she's loving it. She goes through periods where she doesn't come, and then there are days on end when she doesn't leave. All right, Miss Maggie, you and Willie and Reska enjoy your breakfast. And while Jason hasn't had a chance to ride Maggie yet, because like I said, y'all, we've had a lot of rain. It rained over 4 inches in one night, and that was a good bit of rain. So he does plan to use the trails, and I'm quite satisfied as well as him. So we'll see if we can't get in some time, maybe in between these showers this weekend, to test them out. Tucker, tell them how loud you can talk. Tucker. Yeah. Tucker's a loud girl. All right, I'm gonna carry you with me, and we need to let Dee Dee in because I'm gonna take care of the chickens, and then I'm gonna hop on the tractor. And Dee Dee has a tendency to think she can go everywhere I go, and what I'm gonna do, really don't need Dee Dee tagging along. So I bet you she's standing at the front door waiting to go in because she thinks I'm done. She thinks I'm done, but in reality, I haven't taken care of everything yet. Yep, I see her. She's sitting at the door. All right, Miss Dee Dee. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted you to be ready to go up. And I just heard something I've never heard before. Do y'all hear that? So that's not Scott, or not Scott, coming from this direction. Maybe both of them. Listen. Snow White is calling back. That's the first time I have ever heard that. Never ever have I heard a response from her. Listen. Y'all think I'm crazy. I don't know if my mic picked it up or not, but Snow White is calling back. Males? Snow White. That's very interesting. That has never, I'm sure it's happened before, but that has never been witnessed by neither me nor Jason. We always wondered why she never called out in responding to their calls. Huh. Well, it makes me happy to know that she knows that she's a peacock. I was starting to get worried. I was starting to think she thought she was a silky, you know, in a big body, and that wouldn't be good. But she knows she's a peacock. So today is a monumental day for Miss Snow White. Let's go take care of some chickens. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I knew y'all would see me coming down the road. Y'all lined up when I left the barn, and I tricked you because I usually come this way, but I had to feed the horses. So come on, let's get everybody fed. Get eggs collected. Turn the fence off first. Very important. All right. Come on. Everybody gets a little treat. I see the employee of the month. For some of y'all that haven't seen her loose in the flock before, the little frizzle right there, she's a lot smaller than the rest of the girls, but she's a beautiful chicken. She really is. Well, we're gonna start by gathering egg number 1 from an Ancona chicken that decided to lay on the ground. But, you know, they're just a little bit different. So let's see what we got going on in this new nesting box. Well, not very many eggs today. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Got 5 on this side. All right. And y'all can see that this is working. The only problem is some dirt and debris and whatever's on their feet kind of comes down here as well. So that's 3, 8, 10, 11. But I just picked this up and shake it off and put it back down, and it's good as new. All right, girls, there's plenty of nesting space. Come on, we're gonna get in this one. There you go. All right, don't break the eggs. And this one folded up right there. Let's fix that. And like I said, the little bit of debris just comes on down. Hope y'all are counting, because I quit. And I can always just turn it over, take it and rinse it off if it needs to be. There we go. No eating eggs, as you can see. Yeah, look at Topper and Capri playing on the rocks. He saw me. Topper was standing up on his hind legs when I started walking over here. Like he can actually take on Capri. She's twice his size, but at least they're having fun. And using the rocks. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. Capri's gonna try to do it back. I think Capri may be in heat. I think that may be why Topper is calling her his best friend today. Oh my goodness. Tip, you don't want any part of that action? The rest of them are just out grazing. All right, now for the fun stuff. Got my tractor parked over at the barn. Got the bush hog still on there. So the first thing I want to do is go over to the plot where I planted the ryegrass for the deer, and well, it was a mix. It wasn't just ryegrass, but that patch is just about spent. We've had some warm temperatures that have just, it's time. It's time for something else to go there. Let's see if we can catch her. Oh well, she's not going to do it now, but y'all can see her vision is so limited. Not that that has anything to do with her hearing, but just her mannerisms, and that's why she stays in that stall, and it wouldn't be safe for her to be let out to roam, even though she was interested in their callings. It's just for her best interest. I just was hoping we could hear it a little closer. So anyway, I'm gonna take this time to cut that crop down, that ryegrass and wildlife mix that I planted for the deer and the turkeys back last year and winter, before the winter. It's done well, but it's time to move on to something else. And y'all, if you saw the video where we limed the pasture, the cow pasture and some of the other pastures, hey Bramble, then you know that I went to Garrison's Feed and Seed, which is a feed store in Chilton County, but it's a little bit further than our feed store here in town, but that's where we buy our bulk lime and bulk fertilizer from. And they have a lot of wildlife plot seeds. That's where I bought the last from, the mix. And I saw something in there that I had been curious about for a long time, and I'm fixing to hop on the tractor, head on over to the truck where I left it from when I towed the buggy, the lime buggy, and show y'all exactly what my plans are. Right, Bramble? I don't think you better go, buddy. I think you better stay here with Biscuit and Sylvester. You don't know about that, do you? You're such a sweet boy. So here's what my research told me. When I first started getting turkeys on the property showing up in the game camera, I said, I want to get something planted back there that will keep those turkeys here. Oh my goodness. I see you, baby. Yes. Well, I'm trying to show about this seed right now. I love you though. Yeah, and you too, Rocky. You too. I know. All right, so I'm gonna have to stand up here. And what came about was this seed called chufa. And I had never heard of it. I thought, what in the world is chufa? But here it is. And I thought I was going to have to order it because I didn't think anybody was going to have it. So when I picked up the lime buggy and I saw it on the shelf, I said, I'm going to get some of that because ideal planting time here in the South is April through June. Well, we're here in May, so what perfect timing for this? But it's considered by many to be the best planting there is for wild turkeys. It's a sedge-like bunch grass that produces dozens of underground tubers that are relished by turkeys. The underground nuts are about the size of peanuts, and once mature, turkeys will scratch them out of the ground from late summer through early spring. So sounds like this may be what I need to keep my turkeys here. And I hate to tell y'all, haven't seen any turkeys on the game camera here lately. Maybe the fact that it's breeding season, maybe, I don't know what's going on. Lots of deer, and of course the grass is still back there. The feeder stays full. I get pictures that I look at every single day, but the turkeys haven't been there. So maybe this will bring them back. From what I've read from the National Wildlife Turkey Federation and on this bag here, this is what I'm going to need. It also will, ducks love it. None of my ducks are going to go back there, and we don't have any wild ducks that I think will come and eat it, but that's okay. Right now I just need to get the ground prepared. I'm going to start by cutting down the ryegrass crop that's over there, and then I'm going to till the ground. Then we're going to get this in there and get it covered up before this rain comes in. Oh, that was Angora. Her claw went through my leg and it felt like something was stinging me. Oh my goodness, Angora's a cat, y'all. She's my mama's cat. She used to be ours, but mama steals all cats. So just know that I didn't get bit by anything. That was her claw. All right, gonna put this back in the truck because I will grab it after I switch implements and I might need some help when it comes to planting time. So maybe Jason will be back by then and he can help me figure out the best way to distribute this. It looks like, y'all remember that cereal? I don't know if they still make it or not, called Cocoa Puffs. This is what it reminds me of, Cocoa Puffs. And when I started reading about it, I thought it would be a seed, you know, a little tiny seed. Well, this is unlike any seed I've ever seen. So I hope this stuff will come up, and I hope it'll bring my turkeys back. I wanted to show y'all the pipe that Mr. Greg put in down here that's at the gate where we blocked the dogs off so they can't go on that side of the property. We knew it was necessary because this road would wash out every time it rained, and this area is what Mr. Greg told me to do to try to get the slope lower so rainwater would go that way. 4 inches of rain in one night, and his trench that he dug over to the side, rip-rap here that goes across the road and comes out over here. He put this big piece of concrete that was left on the property here, and you can see that the water's draining the way it should be, and indeed stopped washing the road. The little trench he dug on the side, there's still some wetness in it, but that's to be expected after as much rain as we had. So very, very pleased that the road is holding up, and this is going to be a permanent fix. And here are my boys, which I don't want them coming on the other side of the property. And I'm going to drive the tractor through and shut the gate behind me. So hopefully I can get that done before they decide to come over here and bulldoze their way past me. As soon as I opened the gate, I could see the bobtail cat, Bobby, is over here in the backyard area, and you can kind of tell where this is. The flags are right there, the purple Martin houses are right there, and just like that, he disappeared. But I wanted to show y'all a glimpse of him. We do feed him down here, as well as the other cat that got neutered, but I don't see him very often. I will see him from time to time, but they know where they're getting fed, and you know, they were used to being fed here. They got released back here, so I felt obligated to take care of them, and that's what we do. Y'all, I just pulled up, and the first thing I see is a turkey. And I don't know why I haven't seen them on the game camera. I guess they just don't walk that direction. But right here on the other side of the fence, which is the neighbor's property that I cut the trails on, you can actually see the trail right on the other side of that fence where I cut it, and it's opened up a little bit. There was a turkey, a single turkey. I couldn't tell if it was a tom or a hen, but that's a promising sign. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to get y'all prepped up and hopefully ready for late summer, fall season. I got it all cut, and I noticed about my last pass or two that I was kind of digging down into the ground on one side, and I lifted the bush hog up and down, and I could see that it was kind of tilted on one side, and I couldn't figure out what the problem was because everything on the, it's called a Pat's Easy chain that allows us to hook up things easy right here. That's correct. So I got to looking, I got off of it, and let me show y'all what happened. So you see this arm right here, it has a pin in it that goes through that side, and it's got kind of like a, I don't know, little piece of wire there. Well, on this side of that arm, the pin has come out. So I've walked the area, I've looked for the pin, and I can't find it. So I guess I'm gonna have to, it's kind of a different kind of pin. It's got a weird head on it so it doesn't come back out. Kind of a rectangle almost. I don't know if I can get that at Tractor Supply or if I have to go to Kubota. I'm gonna take the bush hog off and see if I can't get the other pin out to take it with me. And I may not get this crop planted today, but at least I got it cut down. So first things first, got to get another pin. I started questioning myself, did this happen the other day when I was bush hogging next door? And it couldn't have, because there were no drag marks in the road where I was pulling the bush hog on basically one leg, because one side of it's not even hooked up all the way back from the turkey plot. So I got a problem here. I can't get the bush hog off because all the weight is on this. And Jason's not here, so I'm gonna try one thing. And if it doesn't work, I'm gonna wait on him. But I got my bighorn over here, and it's got a winch on the front of it. And y'all know what I'm fixing to do. I'm gonna try to pull this arm out of this predicament that it's in to where the bush hog will lower down, and it might make a big clang, but I need to be able to get the bush hog off so I can get the other pin out and go buy one. Let's see if this is gonna work. All right, y'all, here goes nothing. I'm gonna sit in the side by side with my foot on the brake so it doesn't pull me down the hill. Yay! I think it worked. Matter of fact, I know it did. That was a lot of pressure. I gotta let the winch cable out some more so I can get it off, but wow, how about that? I think I'll be able to get it off now. Let's see. Just like that. That's what I needed to happen. And this side. Yes. The arm is down. Now all I gotta do is get this drive shaft off, and y'all see this grease on this fitting right there? The other day when I hooked it up, I ended up with more grease on my clothes than I had on this. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. You know what? I might let Jason handle that because I can get the pin out now. We shall see. Well, I got two things done. I took the drive shaft off. I didn't have to, but I did. That is in case I pick up the pin in town and I can get it put back together and get the tiller put on before Jason and Mary Carl get back. Not that I'm in any hurry. There are some raindrops falling, so if I don't get to it today, it's not the end of the world, but that is my goal. Now, to see if I need to go to the Kubota dealership. Wasn't planning on going to town today. That's how it goes. Well, I made it back from town and went to the Kubota dealership, and they did not have the replacement bolt that I needed that was like this one. And if y'all see that little piece of wire on there, that's because the pin that was factory, the little, oh goodness, what are they called? I can't remember what they're called. Anyway, that pin came out of there at some point, and so we put this on there just to hold that pin in there. This little bitty pin was $16, so I got them to order it. I ran over and picked me up a bolt that's similar in size. I hope this is going to hold it until the part comes in, because that'll be next week, and I'm going to need a tractor before then. So, you know, I'd like to take a metal detector back over there and just run it through the field and see if I couldn't find this little pin that fell out. But I still need the lynch pin, that's what it's called, that goes over the end of it and correctly holds it. I can get that at Tractor Supply or anywhere, but I got him to go ahead and order it because I probably need the one that came out of it. So I'm going to try to get the tiller put on, see if this bolt will work to hold it on for the time being. And I think the rain's going to get the best of me, but we're going to see. Well, the bolt went through, the nut went on, and I think that'll hold it until the new replacement factory pin that's supposed to go in there arrives. Well, I'm going to try to get this done before the rain. For the 50th time, I've told y'all I was going to try to get it done before the rain. I finally got the tiller on. The drive shaft would not go on the tiller, even after I went and got the bolt. And anyway, this has just been an ordeal, and I'm going to get the seed put out. So my little bag is probably about 10 pounds, I would say, and that's enough to do about 1/4 of an acre, not a whole lot. But I don't have a lot of space back here. If I've got a lot of area left over. I'm gonna come back in and plant another crop for maybe for deer beside it, something turkeys and deer will like. I don't do this for a living, and it's a good thing because I wouldn't get paid very much. I'm not doing a very good job at what I need to do today, but I did bring me a tape measure and some paint, and I'm gonna try to mark off where I want to till today and get this chufa seed in the ground. I'm finally finished. What should have been a quick project turned into pretty much an all-day event. But that's okay, because you know what? I beat the rain. That's what I've been aiming to do all day, is beat the rain, and here I am. I'm complete, and there's not any rain. Just a few drops here and there. I did disperse it by hand because I didn't feel like a seeder, meaning cedar, like, you know what I mean, cedar, S-E-E-D-E-R, would distribute it evenly on this rough terrain. So I just threw it out by hand, and then I came back over and kind of stepped on it and drove my tractor over it to keep the birds from eating it before it rains. And hopefully, the end of the summer, fall, we'll have some turkeys that are enjoying chufa. If they do enjoy it next year, we'll go even further. But they got to do something for me in return. I don't hunt them. I don't harass them. I don't do anything. All I ask is to take a picture. So if y'all see them, send them in front of the camera. I heard another one when I was throwing out the seed down the power line on the neighbor's property. No hunters over there, thankfully. And heard one gobbling, and just, you know, want them to show themselves. Show me their appreciation. That's all I ask in return. It would have been easy to give up today because I was this close a couple of times, and I said, you know what, I can't because I set a goal for myself and I'm going to finish. So that is my word to you today. Set yourself a goal and follow through with it, if at all possible. If you can allow yourself to finish, you will be rewarded in the end, because I feel much better now than I did a couple of hours ago. And it's just because I didn't give up and I finished what I set out to do. So y'all, I know this was kind of a long-winded planning, and I apologize for that, but didn't expect things to turn out the way they did. So I'll update you in a few weeks and see if this stuff starts to sprout, and hopefully we get some rain. Y'all be good.